Greetings. Shalom, Honorable LA Mayor Eric Garcetti, my friend. Sir, I call you my friend against the advice of many of my colleagues and supporters, and against the growing tide throughout the city calling for your resignation, particularly around the matter of chronic sidewalk encampment homelessness culture pervasive throughout most of the city. Against their advice, I call you my friend, because greater love, my teacher teaches me, greater love has no man than this, that he laid down his life for his friend, his reputation for his friend. You are my friend, even though you and I, may have different political opinions, though I may disagree with your strategy and tactics on addressing homelessness. You are yet my friend, because I believe you mean well. You did not cause this crisis of homelessness in Los Angeles. You inherited it from previous administrations, mayoral administrations, as well as LA County Board of Supervisors and the state and the federal government. I admire you because, success or fail, at least you put your all into it. I've observed you, and I salute you, and you'll always be my friend. However, sir, in this matter of the novel Wuhan, China, COVID-19 virus ravaging the world, our country, and Los Angeles, you say to Angelinos, by order, you order us to shelter in, stay home, wash hands frequently, practice social distancing. Good. Quarantine self. However, when you say stay home, therein lies the mockery to the homeless people of Los Angeles, which is, you know, the national capital of homelessness, and comparatively the world, and the national capital of homeless United States military veterans, whom you promised 5 years ago that you were going to rectify. Sir, this is particularly offensive to us Black United States citizens who are homeless. Why? Because nationally, Black citizens, which are actually federal citizens under the direct jurisdiction and protection and advancement of the President of the United States of America. It's very offensive to us, particularly because we, who are citizens by the 14th Amendment and the Civil Rights Act of 1866, not because we're black or from Africa originally, but because of our experience, our unique American experience of being brought here, not with the American dream in our glint, but brought here in the shackles of chains to be slaves to this great nation of immigrants. It's because of our experience we have that special citizenship. Yet, being only 11% of the general national population, we are over 60% of the homeless population. 60%. 11 national, 60 homelessness. And this is so primarily throughout all the major urban centers of our country, as here in Los Angeles, where in the city of LA proper and the county of LA, respectively, being 8% in one and 9% in the other, yet black citizens, black Angelenos, are over 40%, 40% of the homeless populations. On Skid Row, Central City East, downtown Los Angeles, 90% are black men. From the hotels, to the shelters, to the missions, to the sidewalks. 90%, sir, you know this. You've been there, you know, are black men, followed by black women, black female U.S. citizens, and then after that, a mixture of various other ethno-racial identities. 90% are black men. Now, 35 years ago, when I was on Skid Row, the ground zero of homelessness, the black hole vortex of homelessness in the capital of national capital of homelessness, when I lived on the sidewalks with homeless people, with black homeless people and others, I observed, and I said then, and have continued to say and proclaim every year, 35 years, this is a matter of racism. You called it systemic racism. Systemic racism. You, LA County Board of Supervisors, Mark Ridley Thomas, my friend, whom I've known a long time, even before he was elected to city council. And my dear friend, pastor, legendary pastor, Chip Murray, formerly of Fame Church, First AME. You three held a news conference, and you stated then the reason for the propensity, the primary cause of black homelessness disproportionately in LA and in all the urban centers of America, you said, and also LASA under your and Mr. and Supervisor Mark Ridley Thomas' orders, LASA even says that it is systemic racism against black people for why so many of us are homeless. Yet, sir, you have not defined systemic racism. You have not defined or explained where it came from or what you're going to do about this disparity. When you say stay home to Angelinos, that's a mockery to homeless people, especially Black homeless people. It's a mockery. Home? Where? How can homeless people frequently wash their hands? How can homeless people practice social distancing? How can homeless people shelter in? They can't. When I was on Skid Row the other day, just checking things out, I do that periodically. It looks like a concentration camp without walls. Everybody is there on top of each other. It reminds me, and they're primarily Black citizens and Black U.S. military veterans. And it reminds me of the slave ships in the Middle Passage, where they would stack side by side in that filth. And I see Black homeless men and women laying on the sidewalks next to each other, standing in line, trying to get into an open room shelter where disease is in the air and in the bathrooms. Sir, you are even continuing the cold wet weather program where you are busing homeless people to open room shelters. I was at your bridge shelter housing in Venice Beach. You're taking them in there. And the nature of homeless people is to transit, is to travel, to move about. And they come and they go. Yet, you will punish LA residents, house people, if they violate those health codes. Yet, you're allowing homeless all over the city to be. And you are allowing that tragic, horrible situation on Skid Row to exist. What are you going to do about this, sir? What is your policy? What is your plan? When are you going to implement it? What is it based on? Sir, last year in June of 2019, you and I met. Remember? And I encouraged you to meet with the president. And I encouraged the White House to meet with you and to work with you, because this is not about politics. This is a humanitarian crisis. To get over the politics, to work together. And I told you then, I had a plan, an Exodus plan, been around for a long time. We call it the Exodus, Genesis, Incentive, Initiative Plan of the New Frontier 2 Operation Humanity of Justiceville, 501c3 nonprofit. We have been proclaiming this Exodus plan for 35 years, sir. Not just to you, but to all the administrations, from Tom Bradley to Richard Riordan, my friend, and Tom Bradley and I became friends eventually. James Hahn, Antonia Villaraigosa, also my friend. To you, to no avail. And now you have this crisis. What are you going to do about the homeless, sir? please call me. You know how to reach me. You know my phone number. You know my email. I'm more than happy to share with you my Exodus plan. Finally, again, I just want you to know, and I want everyone else to know in this city, in this country, and around the world, because the whole world is watching Los Angeles homeless. What are you going to do about the systemic racism, particularly as it affects us with this virus? And there will be more. You know there's going to be more. In fact, there was talk about this situation of homeless being on the streets with the rats and the listeria and the deaths of cholera, etc., before this virus thing. My friend, and I also call you my friend because your father is my friend. Legendary Los Angeles District Attorney Gil Garcetti, who worked with me, Jim Hahn, Attorney General Bill Lockyer, Sheriff Leroy Baca, on this plan of an exodus. You know what I'm talking about. It's called the JSAP, Joint Statement and Action Plan of the Law Enforcement Working Group. Sir, please, no more mockery. You're my friend. I will defend you, but no more mockery, sir, of my people and of other homeless people by telling us to stay home. Thank you, my friend. May God bless you, your family, all those at the table working to resolve these matters. I stand at the ready. Thank you, sir.